Somebody did something nice for you recently. You did not ask for it. You did not need it. And ever since, a quiet voice at the back of your mind has been suggesting that you owe them something in return. You cannot name the amount. You never signed anything. But the balance is real. It is growing. And the person who opened that account knows exactly when they intend to collect. That is not suspicion. That is behavioral physics. And it runs underneath almost every relationship you have. Stay with me for the next 6 minutes because before this ends, I am going to hand you a single sentence, 11 words, calm, warm, completely polite on that erases an unwanted debt before it can ever be used against you. But that sentence only detonates when it is deployed at the right moment. And the right moment is defined by 3 signals that always arrive first. Miss the signals, and the sentence is just noise. Here is the mechanism underneath all of it. In psychology, this is usually called the norm of reciprocity, and it is one of the most reliable levers in human behavior. When someone gives you something, your mind opens a file and marks it unbalanced. It does not check whether you wanted the gift. It does not check whether the giver had clean motives. It simply registers the imbalance and begins pressing you quietly and constantly to level the account. That pressure is automatic. It works on generous people. It works on intelligent people. It works on suspicious people. It works on you. A manipulator does not need to break that system. They only need to feed it. The person who understands reciprocity never asks you for control. They purchase it. They hand you a favor you did not request, and in that instant, they have made an investment, small, cheap, entirely deliberate, with an expected return that you have not yet been told about. And here is the error nearly everyone makes. You were taught that kindness is a gift, and that questioning a gift makes you cold, cynical, ungrateful. So you accept everything at face value. You smile. You say thank you. You file the moment under generosity and move on. Meanwhile, on the other side of the table, the same moment was filed as a deposit. One event, 2 ledgers, 2 completely different sets of terms. That gap is the trap, and you walked into it while being polite. Now let me say the thing that will make a portion of you angry. Unrequested kindness is not kindness. It is a proposal. Real generosity arrives without a hook and leaves without a shadow. A proposal arrives with terms attached, and the terms are simply not read aloud yet. Disagree with me if you want. But before you do, ask yourself why the last person who just wanted to help you also happened to need something from you 3 weeks later. And that is not even the sharpest edge of this. Because the dangerous version is never the stranger. It is the colleague who covers your shift, the relative who pays for something you never mentioned wanting, the friend who fixes a problem you had already solved. Familiarity is the camouflage. The closer the source, the less your defenses fire, and the larger the invoice can be when it finally lands. So here is the protocol. 4 phases. Learn them in order. Phase 1. You read the ledger before you accept anything. Genuine help is quiet, proportionate, and finished. A hidden investment is loud, oversized, and referenced again later. Those are your 3 signals. Unasked, disproportionate, repeated out loud. Sincere kindness never needs an audience. An investment always does. Someone who helps you and then mentions it twice in the following month was not helping you. They were building a case file. Phase 2. You test the motive without ever making an accusation. Never ask a person what they want from you. You will get a denial and you will look paranoid and you will hand them the moral high ground for free. Instead, you disarm the whole situation by offering to settle immediately, in full, on your terms. You look at them, calm and level, and you say, "That was good of you. Tell me what I owe you, and I will square it up today." Then you watch. A sincere person waves it away, and means it, and the subject dies right there. An investor cannot allow you to close the account because a closed account holds no leverage. So they refuse your payment while keeping the debt breathing. Do not be silly. It was nothing. You can get me back sometime. That single word, sometime, exposes the entire strategy. Sometime means the invoice stays open and they choose the date. You have now seen the motive without accusing anyone of anything. Checkmate, and they never noticed there was a board. Understand what you just built there. That is one plate of psychological armor, and armor is never assembled in one afternoon. It goes on piece by piece, protocol by protocol, until pressure that used to move you simply slides off the surface. This channel is where the remaining plates get forged. Keep it beside you, and the matrix of quiet pressure that people run on you stops being invisible. Phase 3. You accept the help without accepting the debt. This is the part nobody teaches you because most people believe there are only 2 doors. Take the favor and owe them, or refuse the favor and look cold. There is a 3rd door. You accept the action and you reject the framing, out loud in the same breath. You say, I appreciate that, and I want to be clear, I am taking it as a favor between us, not as something I owe you for. Say it warmly, say it once. Do not explain it. Do not soften it into a joke and never apologize for it. What you have done is deceptively powerful. You have written the terms of the transaction before the other side could write them for you. Whoever names the frame first controls it. A sincere person hears that line and feels absolutely nothing. A manipulator hears it and feels a door closing, and you will see it flicker across their face for less than a second. Watch the eyes. That flicker is your confirmation. Phase 4. You decline the offer completely when the ledger reads wrong, and you do it without handing them a single thing to argue with. Most people collapse here because most people explain. Explanation is a weapon you place into the other person's hand. Every reason you give is a door they can push on, so you give none. Your line is this, thank you, but I have this one handled. Full stop. No reason, no apology. If they press, and anyone running an investment strategy always presses, you do not invent a fresh excuse. You return the same sentence, slightly warmer and slightly shorter, I know and I have it handled. Then you change the subject as though the matter were already settled, because in your mind it is. Assertiveness training calls this repetition the broken record, and it works precisely because it gives an opponent no new material to grip. Pressure needs a surface. You are refusing to be one. Now expect the counterattack, because it arrives almost every time. When the leverage fails, the tone shifts. Wow. I was only trying to be nice. That is not hurt feelings. That is the collection notice arriving early, engineered to make you rush in and repair the damage by accepting after all. You never repair it. You keep your voice flat and pleasant, you agree with the surface, and you ignore the hook entirely. You were, and I appreciate it. Then silence. Nothing else. Give an emotional bid no fuel, and it burns out within seconds. This is the same principle behind what is commonly called the gray rock approach, and it neutralizes guilt pressure faster than any argument you could ever construct. And now, the sentence I promised you. 11 words, and they function anywhere the ledger is opening. In an office, in a family kitchen, in a doorway. I am taking this as a gift, not as a loan. Deployed early, while the favor is still in the air and gratitude has not yet hardened into obligation, it closes the account at the exact moment of opening. There is nothing left to collect later because you defined the transaction while they were still setting it up. But it only works when the signals told you it was needed. Say it to a genuinely kind person and you sound strange. Say it to an investor and the entire operation folds without one harsh word being spoken. That is the difference between owning armor and wearing it correctly. So carry this out of here with you. Kindness that costs you nothing to accept is a gift. Kindness that quietly opens an account in your name is a purchase, and you were the item being bought. You will always be gracious. You will never be owned. Keep the plating cold. Keep the ledger closed, and let nobody sew strings into you that they can pull on later. Your gratitude belongs to you. Never let it be collected.